Sutton shares legal advice for Kyle Richards to divorce Mao. After divorcing Christian Strack in 2016, Sutton Strack has some words of wisdom for Kyle Richards as she goes through her own separation. Sutton advised the mom of Ford to file for divorce first on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Season 14 premiere, which aired back in October 2024, and she just shared another piece of advice she relayed. I said, go talk to every mean lawyer in Beverly Hills, so Mauricio Umansky can't hire them, Sutton said while sitting next to Garcelle Bavas and Jennifer Tilly on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills after show. Because once you talk to them, they can't hire them. She also revealed one of the other major lessons she learned in setting boundaries during her divorce. My therapist, when I was in separation, she told me to change the locks, Sutton said. It took me years to do it. She was like, you need to change the locks. He cannot just walk into your house anymore. That's very good advice, Jennifer agreed. It's not his house, he can't have the advantages of marriage. Kyle Richards reveals why she hasn't filed for divorce from Mauricio Umansky. Though numerous diamond holders have advised Kyle to get ready to take the next legal step in her separation, she still does not feel ready to do so. If we hated each other, it would be so easy. Not really, but emotionally easy. I think that it was just hard, and neither one of us wanted to be the one to say, "Oak, we're not going to be together, and let's start figuring everything out," Kyle explained on a prior episode of that RHOBH after show. We've made it easy for each other to not have to do that by just avoiding everything, actually. She also shared why she didn't listen to her castmates. I think a lot of the women were pressing for answers from me before I even had the answers myself. I think they didn't believe me, but I genuinely did not, she said. They were watching my marriage unfold in real time. So I was like, guys, I don't have the answers. Not everyone has them that fast. However, Kyle does recognize that she's at a standstill with her estranged husband. I have said to him, we have to have the harder conversations now, she said. A lot of decisions are going to have to be made. Sutton's divorce wisdom, a guiding light for Kyle Richards. Divorce, for anyone who's experienced it, is a labyrinth of emotions, legal maneuvers, and life-changing decisions. It's not just about untangling assets and dividing time with children, but about reconstructing an entire future. Sutton Strack, a name synonymous with glamour and grit on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, has walked that path and emerged with a set of lessons that might just help her friend, Kyle Richards, navigate her own rocky road toward a new chapter. Sutton's advice to Kyle, shared publicly on various platforms, goes beyond the typical counsel. It's personal, heartfelt, and rooted in real lived experience. In the premiere of Season 14 of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Sutton was candid in offering advice to Kyle as she faced her own marital separation from Mauricio Umansky, her husband of over 25 years. The tension between the couple had been simmering throughout the season, and while the details of their split were not entirely clear, it was evident that both were in a painful limbo, stuck between the familiar and the unknown. Sutton, with her own history of navigating a high-profile divorce from her ex-husband, Christian Strack, in 2016, knew just what Kyle needed to hear. The two had forged a bond over the years, and Sutton, with her no-nonsense attitude, was there for her friend in ways that others might shy away from. I said, go talk to every mean lawyer in Beverly Hills so Mauricio can't hire them, Sutton recalled, sitting next to Garcelle Bavas and Jennifer Tilly on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills after show. It was a piece of advice that made people pause and perhaps chuckle at first, but beneath the humor was a hard truth. Divorce, especially in the world of Beverly Hills, is a game of chess, full of strategic moves and preemptive strikes. Sutton, who had gone through the process of ending her own marriage with Christian, knew that securing the best legal counsel early was one of the first steps toward ensuring her own future was protected. Because, once you talk to them, they can't hire them, Sutton continued. It was simple, but effective. In Sutton's experience, when it came to divorce, it wasn't just about the emotional fallout. It was about protecting your interests, your children, and, above all, your peace of mind. For Kyle, who was facing the unimaginable reality of ending her marriage with the man she'd built a life with, Sutton's advice was an anchor amidst the uncertainty. But Sutton's wisdom didn't stop there. She had another key lesson to share, one that was as much about personal boundaries as it was about the practicalities of divorce. My therapist, when I was in separation, she told me to change the locks, Sutton revealed, her voice steady but tinged with the weight of the memory. It took me years to do it. She was like, "You need to change the locks. He cannot just walk into your house anymore." At first glance, this might seem like a simple piece of advice, perhaps even trivial in comparison to the other heavy decisions that come with divorce. But Sutton explained it was not just about physical security, it was about psychological security. "That's very good advice," Jennifer Tilly agreed, as she nodded thoughtfully. "It's not his house, he can't have the advantages of marriage." Sutton's words were a reminder to Kyle, and to anyone going through a breakup, that boundaries are not just about saying no to others. They're also about setting boundaries with yourself, especially when it comes to the emotional entanglements that can keep you tethered to someone who no longer shares your life. The advice to change the locks was a symbol of taking control, reclaiming space, and asserting one's independence. It was a practical way to let go, even when doing so seemed impossible. Kyle, for her part, was clearly struggling with the emotional complexities of her marriage's end. On that RHOBH after show, she revealed that while her marriage with Mauricio had been unraveling, she hadn't yet made the decision to file for divorce. "If we hated each other, it would be so easy," she said, her voice tinged with both frustration and understanding. "Not really, but emotionally easy. I think that it was just hard, and neither one of us wanted to be the one to say, 'Oak, we're not going to be together, and let's start figuring everything out.'" Kyle's honesty resonated with anyone who has ever found themselves at the crossroads of a relationship. The decision to end a marriage is never easy, especially when, as Kyle explained, you still care for the other person. "We've made it easy for each other to not have to do that by just avoiding everything," actually, she admitted. It was a striking moment of vulnerability, one that laid bare the complexity of relationships, especially those in the public eye. As her castmates pressed her for answers, Kyle's emotions ran deep. "I think a lot of the women were pressing for answers from me before I even had the answers myself," she reflected. "I think they didn't believe me, but I genuinely did not have the answers." It was clear that Kyle wasn't just fighting external pressures, she was battling her own uncertainties. And this was where Sutton's advice became more than just legal tips, it became a lifeline. For Sutton, the experience of ending her own marriage was one of immense personal growth. She had not only learned the importance of hiring the right lawyers and changing the locks, but also the vital need to put herself first. "The lessons I learned were all about setting boundaries, knowing what I would and wouldn't tolerate, and not compromising on those values," she said in one of her candid moments during the show. Divorce isn't just about the end of a marriage, it's about the beginning of something new. It's about finding yourself again. Sutton's words served as a reminder that divorce isn't just a legal process. It's also a transformative emotional journey. While Kyle's future with Mauricio was still uncertain, Sutton's guidance gave her the tools to reclaim control, not just over the practicalities of her situation, but over her own sense of self. The idea that she could change the locks, that she could assert her own boundaries, was empowering. In the world of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, where drama, luxury, and glamour are the bread and butter of the show, moments like these stand out. They remind viewers that even in the midst of chaos, there is room for healing and wisdom. Sutton Stracke's advice to Kyle was not just about surviving divorce, it was about thriving in the aftermath, about recognizing the strength in vulnerability, and about taking charge of the future. While Kyle's divorce may still be in the works, her journey towards self-discovery is just beginning. Sutton's words will no doubt continue to guide her, not just as a friend, but as someone who has walked the path before and knows how to emerge stronger on the other side. And as the season continues, viewers will be left wondering, how will Kyle's story unfold? And how much of Sutton's advice will resonate as she navigates the complexities of her own emotional and legal journey? The road to healing after divorce is rarely straightforward, but as Sutton's words so clearly show, it is a road worth taking, one filled with lessons, self-discovery, and ultimately a brighter future ahead.